developers, and what's going on. So about this section, I created the 3-second videos for a reason, just to let you guys know how the web works, what are text editors, and how to install your text editor, okay, and how the browser works and all of that. But if you don't understand everything of every single video, that's totally fine, okay. These things I've learned by reading, okay, throughout my whole journey, okay. I did not like go right away and like Google every little bit of these things when I just started out. No, I did not do that. So if you don't understand some things, that's totally fine. You can look it up, and as you go as a developer, you will learn a lot of stuff, not just by watching videos. You'll learn by reading, you know, observing people, talking to people online, and all of that. So if you don't understand everything in this section, that's totally fine. Just relax, learn, and have fun. So yeah, that's basically it. Keep going. Hello developers, and what's going on? So in this one, we're gonna talk about how the web works, just in simple terms. Okay, so we have here our 3 items right over here. We're gonna talk about how the clients and the servers first. So just think of the whole internet as a road, okay. We have like 2 main parts on these roads: the clients on one part of the road and the servers on the other part. So the client is like every normal user on the internet, like me, like you. Any user on the internet is considered a client, okay. And the servers are basically this massive structure, you know, these massive structure computers. They have like the hardware in these computers are intensive. It's not like us, the clients. We only use like simple computers, stuff like that. So these actually work like 24/7. They don't stop, and they handle all the web resources, or you can find all the resources on the web available on these servers, okay. So this is how we basically connect, and we actually connect through the browser, okay. So let's talk about what exactly happens behind the scenes when you try to type, let's say, when you try to type a normal, you know, a normal address on the web, like I'm trying to access Facebook right now. So what exactly happens behind the scenes? So I have this website right here, or this page right here, which explains in a bit what happens. So what basically happens when you try to type something on the internet, which is actually called a web address, or you know, or a URL, or anything like that. So what happens, the browser goes to a DNS server, and a DNS server is basically these servers that they're like address book or something like that, okay. They contain all the IPs, because every website has an IP, and you as a user or as a client on the internet has an IP. So this is how we basically connect. When you try to type a website on the browser right here, it goes to a DNS server, and the DNS server basically takes your website and try to find the IP for it, tries to find the IP on the DNS itself. So after it finds the IP, it will just, you know, it will just display the page just like this one right over here. And if it's not okay, if it's not there, you know, if it's not there, it will just return not found, you know, something like that. So this is basically how the DNS actually works. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So what basically happens, you know, all this process going to the DNS and finding the IP and all of that, we have like an HTTP request message, and the HTTP request is just a way of you know, sending and transforming and transmitting data through the internet. It's just an internet protocol like an IB. So it actually sends a request to the server, and the server comes back with a web resources right here, as you're seeing right here. So we have here, like in the third part, if the server approves the client's request, the server sends the client a 200 OK message. Yeah, and these just basic, you know, codes on the internet. 200 means OK, 404 means not found, stuff like that. So just basic stuff. So that's basically it. And you know, just what after a request is sent and it's approved, okay, right here it will just send these small chunks of data, which we call the packets, through the network. It will just come back. Okay, so this is basically it. Those like are the four main parts of how the web works, or what's going on behind the scenes when you type what would you call it, a web address on your browser. Okay, so we have right here the DNS explained, and of course we have it right here. What basically happens is like DNS is like a web address. Okay, so it only understands IBs like this. So when you type, and I'm sorry, I'm repeating this again. I know it's kind of hard, but I'm just repeating it again so you can get a glimpse of what's going on. So basically, it will just a DNS understands IBs like this, and when you type your URL right here, it will just take it and get the IB for it and just send it back. So that's basically it, and I will link to this page if you want to read more about how the web works. Like, this page is really good, and it's really simple, but this is just, you know, a small comment on the process, on what's going on and stuff. Okay, so that's basically it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Hello developers, and what's going on? So in this one we're gonna talk about text editors. So a text editor is basically just a program which you use to write code. Okay, and they can get pretty complicated and intensive, and they can be really simple. So you can write code from starting with your, you know, with your just text, with just, you know, like a text document or something like that. You can write code, right here. But this is like really simple. I guess if you're starting out, you didn't need to use this. You can start with like a more, what do we call it, a more advanced text editor. You don't need to use this one right here. So we can use like something like Sublime, Notepad++ brackets. So you can download any of these ones right here. Or so these basically are simple ones, but it can get pretty intensive, like PHP Storm right here, which is an IDE, which stands for an integrated development environment, which is actually a pretty powerful tool or program to write PHP code. So some of them are simple, some of them are complicated, but you know, we are just gonna go for a simple one right here. But of course it's not a text document right here. So we can go ahead and download Sublime Text. You can use Visual Studio Code if you already have it installed. You can use any of these. It's really simple to install, but I'm just gonna go with Sublime Text. But if you're not sure what to use, just go along with me and choose Sublime right here. So if you actually go ahead and try to install it, Sublime Text, try to look it up on Google, will just show up right here. You click on download for Windows. it will show up like this one right here after you download it. So I already downloaded it, and if I just click on it, yes, okay, so next, install, and we'll basically install the program right away. Click on finish. I go ahead right now and just try to look it up. Sublime will just appear right here. If I click on enter, you can see right here it's all like empty. If I go ahead and let's try to just write anything, let's say hello. Okay, if I want to save this page, which we are gonna do a lot of in this course, click just tab on Control Shift and S all together, and you can save it right now. Let's say I'm gonna save it on desktop. Let's say I'm gonna call it hello, and I'm gonna set the format of this, you know, of this page as an HTML. So we just type in .html, which of course what we are gonna be doing in this whole course. So if I click on save, now it's basically saved right here. Yeah, it's right here. If I try and click it, it will just open up right away in here. Okay, so this is basically it for dealing with, you know, dealing with the text editor. This is how you install it, and this is how you save and write into files. And of course you can write this write in this one right here. So I can actually try this and type in hello, just, you know, to show you that actually works. Hello, so just anything basic. Click on, yeah, I actually need to save this one. Save as. Okay, let me hello .html. Okay, let's leave it on desktop. I go back right here, and there it is right here. If I click on it, you can see right here, here it is. So it's basically about the extension, okay, which is .html. It dictates what's gonna happen with this file, you know, right here. So this is basically it for this one, and see you in the next video. Hello guys, and what's going on? So in this one we are gonna talk about the browser, and as you may know by now, I'm using Google Chrome right here. Okay, and I would recommend using this browser because it, like almost every developer use it. It's really easy to deal with. The interface is really friendly. You know, it provides you with a lot of good tools, stuff like that. So it's actually the best, and that's only my opinion. Okay, you can use whatever you want, it will work. Okay, but I would recommend Chrome if you ask me. So basically I'm not gonna download Chrome on this video. I am guessing that you have it, or you have any other, you know, browser set up by now, so I'm not gonna download it. And if you still don't have it, if you're watching this, let's say on your mobile phone, and you don't have Chrome installed on your PC, then you should go and just download it. Use any other browser and download it, or you can just use your symbol like Internet Explorer, stuff like that. Just use any other browser and it will work just fine. But in this one we are going to talk about, like, in some details about what you should be knowing, or what you should know as a developer who is getting started about the browser. You should know about the browser more than the average user. Okay, so here we have like a simple page in the browser. Any simple page, we have like the user interface, and the user interface basically you can just see the visual elements like these arrows right here, a refresh icon, and here is like the URL, which when you type the URL it should get you whatever you want, and this like the bookmarks, the extensions, all of these visuals right here. So it's basically just the interface. Okay, there is also something we want to talk about, which is the rendering engine. And the rendering engine basically takes up the resources after the network processes it and display it on the page, as we're seeing right here. So it basically processes HTML, which is of course we are going to be dealing with here in this course, and XML, which is another format on the web, and web resources like images, videos, audios, and stuff like that. So the rendering engine is just an engine embedded in the browser. Okay, and it's basically written in C++, which of course a huge prominent language, and some browsers use different rendering engines. So Chrome and Opera both use Blink, Firefox use Jco, Internet Explorer use Trident. Actually Internet Explorer is now deprecated. Okay, don't use it. If you want to use something like the default Windows, just use Edge, which uses Edge HTML, and you can see right here like almost everyone uses a different rendering engine, which is basically the same, and we all written in the same programming language, which is C++. So it basically happens when rendering the engines. A web resource are parsed. For example, an HTML parser converts an HTML template into an object called the DOM model, or the DOM model, which is the document object model, which is basically the representation of all the object right here. It's just a tree of everything on this page right here, or any other page for this matter. And of course it processes CSS, which is just a cascade styling sheet, which is just a design and style language. We are going to take a look at it in this course. Okay, so this is how it basically works. After the network, the rendering engine just takes up all the HTML and all web resources, XML, the CSS, and just convert all of this into the DOM object. And basically the browser does a painting and a styling after that, and just displays all of this as you're seeing right here. The third thing we want to talk about is the JavaScript engine, and JavaScript is basically a programming language which is rendered right here on the browser. Okay, it's a language that deals with web interactions, graphic stuff like that. It's a highly used language right now. It's really hot in the industry. Okay, as you might know. So basically the JavaScript engine is a subsystem for parsing JavaScript code to machine code, okay, and then executing it. The machine code is basically the code that's parsed by the machine that we're using, which is actually our computer. And they use these JavaScript engines use like JIT, which is only a compiler. It's like an interpreter which gets the code and turn it to the machine code. Okay, so, and also every browser uses a different JavaScript engine right here. Like Chrome uses the V8 engine, which is I would say the most popular one, as of course it's written in CSS. And here we have like some other examples, like Safari uses JavaScript core, Firefox uses SpiderMonkey, and goes on and on. So basically we talked about the user interface, the rendering right here, where is it? They are the rendering engine and the JavaScript engine. Okay, let me see, we have, yeah, and the fourth thing we want to talk about is the inspect element. If you just go ahead and press on Control Shift and I at the same time, this should pop up right here. It can pop up like right here on the left or on the right, or in another tab. It depends on how you display it right here. Okay, you can just go like this on the left right here. Now you can display it on the right, but I like to keep it just down right here. Okay, you can display it whatever you want. And basically the inspect element is just a tool, or whatever you want to call it. There, a lot of people call it a web developer, the Chrome developer tools. Inspect element, you can call it whatever you want. It basically allows you to interact or to change or alter the content of the page, okay, in real time. But of course, after we refresh, everything will just come back to normal. Like if it's if we click on this right here, we can try and let me just, yeah, we can go to the engine right here. You can see right here that gets you anything that you select on. If we try again, you can see right here, let me try the process. You can see right here, it gets to the process right here. It highlights everything right away. So if I try and change this, let's say the process is down, and if I just keep it, you can see right here it changes in real time. So we have like a lot of tabs right here. This is the elements, the console, the sources, the network, and of course you can discover this, you can read about it. I don't need to or I don't want to like talk about everything right here. I don't want just to drain you or pressure you, or you can just go ahead and look up every one of these, and you don't actually need to know every one of them in details, especially if you're just getting started. I'm just telling you what you should be, what you should know before you get on with this course. And you have here the style is the CSS code right here. Okay, and I know you might be like might be all over the place and confused right now, but you will know everything and understand everything as we go. Okay, so this is basically what you need to know. And this one right here, it's like it gets the content of the browser as like what would you call it, as a mobile phone. Okay, if you're talking about responsive design and stuff. So as you can see here, this is the Chrome developer tools, or the inspect element right here. And of course, if you need to close it, you can just click on here. Okay, and you can actually open it again. If you want to open it, just like right click and click on inspect, and it will open it up right away. So these are basically the 4 things that I want to talk about. So go ahead and install your browser, or you might have it already installed, and let's get on with this course. So with that said, see you on the next time. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and what's going on? So we're just gonna start out with this course right here. So I have my Sublime open, and I have my browser right here. So basically we're just gonna talk about 3 or 4 main things in this video right here. First of all, we're gonna talk about the doc type, and the HTML tag and head and the body. Okay, but before I talk about these 4 main tags, and everything in HTML is just a tag or an element, okay, I want you just to look at almost every HTML tag in this syntax like this. So we just open up this one right here, which is the greater than or smaller than, and just like this one, and the content right here. Okay, and you open this one again, you have this backslash right here, and you close it back. So we can put anything right here, which is gonna be our elements, and in the middle it's gonna be the content. If that doesn't make any sense to you, it will make sense right now. Okay, but first of all, let me just save this file right here so I can show you the HTML syntax highlighting. Let me, no, not this one, Control Shift and S at the same time. Okay, alright, so we are in the desktop. I'm just gonna create a new folder right here. Okay, let's call this HTML course. Alright, so just and save this one. Yeah, I need a name. Let's call it index.html, which is of course the format or the extension of this file, which is HTML. You can actually call it just HTML and it will work, but I'd rather call it HTML. If I save it like this, you can see right now that we get some syntax highlighting. It basically tells us that this is actually wrong. Okay, these red markers right here, but you know, I'm just gonna remove them right away. So if you want zoom in, you can use your scroll and a control at the same time. Okay, so basically we are going to talk about these guys right here. So if I just go ahead and delete all of this, here we need to start our document, and to start the document we need a doc type tag right here, which actually defines this page right here as an HTML5 document. Okay, it just, you know, it's just a certain thing. It's just just a good thing to define your document as an HTML5, not and you know, it needs to be at the top right here. So we need to do our greater than right here and an exclamation mark, and we're typing doc type all in capital right here HTML, and close it like this. So you can see right here that we have this syntax highlighting. This is in red, and this is this is in green, and this is in red, and you know, stuff like that. So we can actually highlight the syntax and see what we're doing right here. And this is basically the difference between these text editors and, you know, the document text editor. This one just, you know, really good. It's just better than the document text itself. So this is how you like to define your HTML5 document, which is better than HTML4, and this one needs to be at the top of the page right here. And it's not case sensitive. You can type this one in all capital, you can type it in all small, it will just work. Okay, so after this we need to define our HTML tag, which of course type this sign right here. Okay, and HTML. Okay, and you just close it, and then you can type you can do another sign, and you can, no, I don't need to do this. Okay, it actually it completes automatically. It completes automatically this tag right here, but I don't want to complete it automatically right here. So I'll just go back and do, oh my god, just do it automatically. So after this one right here, you're gonna do a backslash, and then you're just gonna type HTML, and this is basically the starting of our page, the main the actual starting our page. So as I told you before, you need to do these signs right here, which is the greater than and the smaller than, and then your element. Everything in this page is gonna be just an element, and then you're gonna do the greater sign again, the backslash, and then the name of your element again, and you just close everything. And right here between these guys, we need to call our head tag. Okay, and as I told you before, you need to get the signs, you need to do this, and it actually completes right away, which I wouldn't advise you to use actually. Okay, just as a starters, because you need I guess you need to type everything yourself so you can memorize and understand everything. And after that, after you become professional and after you get bored, okay, you actually have to let Sublime or any other text editor just complete them to you. So we have here inside the HTML the head and the body. Okay, can type it again, and can see that we have our document right here. So this is like the most basic document. So the head tag contains stuff like, the title, which is the title of the page right here. Right here it's new tab. Okay, and contains the meta tag, which is actually concerned with the encoding of this page, like which languages will this page handle, stuff like that. And also concerned with some links. If you want to link to a CSS style sheet, you're just some basic style sheets, some links, stuff like that. So it's just concerned with the head or the header of this page right here. And the body, which is concerned with everything right here on this. It's basically concerned with the body of this page, or the UI elements of this page. Okay, so if I try, I will just write write just a title tag right here, and of course, as you may have guessed, this only will give us a title. Let's say the title is hello, it's my first page, and we are gonna close this. Of course, you're gonna do greater sign, and you wanna close it. If you wanna type it from the start out, you can do whatever you want. Okay, maybe I need to disable this completing thing and write everything from scratch. I'll just do that after we do this video right here. I mean, if I can do this is like this. This one is really text editor is really simple. So if I just save this, just press on Control and S at the same time, you can see now it's saved. If I go, let me just go to my folder right here, and if I need to press on index, it will just open up, and you can see the title of the page right here. And of course, you can tweak this whatever you want. Now let's say hello world. If I save this and refresh, you can see right here it's changed. And if I want to view the page source, the code of this page, you can just type Control and U, right here, and this will get us the code of this page right here, which of course we have it in our Sublime. Okay, or you can just go and press on view source page right away. Okay, so basically in the head tag we have the title, we have some meta, we have some links, our CSS or JavaScript, and in the body we are gonna now display something right here on this page. So we can just display a heading tag, and of course if we go like this, let's keep it h1, and this will display like a text of an h1 or heading 1 or header 1. Let's say this is my first heading, and if we close this, it will just close it automatically after you write the slash right here. Okay, if we save this, go back and refresh this, you can see right here we have, this is my first heading, which is just a heading or a header from you know, header like number 1, like this is the biggest one you can get. You can type in 2, you know, and of course you need to change it right here, so this will get 2, and if we change this, it will be a little smaller, as you can see right here. And of course if we do like 4, okay, and the more you like, the more you make it, make the number bigger, the more it will get smaller. We refresh right here. Okay, you can refresh by Control R, or you can refresh just like this, but I'd rather get Control R. Okay, and this is gonna be the first it tells you this is my first heading, and of course it's a little smaller. So this is basically it for our first index page, and it might get confusing sometimes, you know, but just think of every HTML element as I told before, like these signs right here, the name and the content and the closing of this one with the slash right here. And you don't need to memorize anything. Actually, it will just come natural as you go. Okay, the more you write, the more you'll subconsciously memorize it, so without any effort. Okay, so we actually, just to make this a little more clean or simple, if you highlight on everything right here and just press tab, okay, and this one right here, and just press another tab right here, it just makes it a little more cleaner. Yeah, you can leave them without any spaces, but it'll just it seems right to me. Okay, so this is basically it for the basic syntax, and see you in the next video. Hello guys, and welcome to another video. So in the last one we've talked about the basic syntax of HTML and some HTML elements. Okay, and we talked about like how to do elements, what are they, and I give you some examples. But in this one we're gonna talk a bit about them, and I'm gonna tell you that you can actually let me tell you first about how to disable auto completing when writing HTML. Okay, so if you go right here and you press on settings, syntax specific, it will open up something like this. If you go Control F, okay, and if you write in, actually I did it right here, so if you write in auto close, let me focus here so we can search here, auto close tags right here on the line 137 right here. Go ahead and copy this whole thing right here and just paste it in. Okay, right here. and turn this to false, so we can override these value right here. Okay, and just keep the focus on here and control S. So this is basically how you disable the auto close tags. Okay, so we can just write everything from scratch, okay, and close it in, and now it will disable the whole thing. Okay, disable closing the tags. So let's now talk about nested tags. You can actually type more than one tag inside another. Okay, so if we can go ahead, and now I'm going to introduce you to another element, which is the paragraph. Write in P and close it right back. Okay, let's say this is my first paragraph. Okay, and if you now write the closing tag, which is P, now you can type everything as you're seeing. Okay, so you can actually write whatever number you want, like it's just endless. We now close this one. Let's just press on cancel, and if we go right here and refresh, you can see that we have a paragraph right here, and we can actually write just one a little more. You can go ahead right here and Control S to copy it and Control V to paste it, and let's say this is my second heading. Okay, we can keep this for 2, and here is 2 also. So if we save this and go back here and refresh, you can see that we have a heading right here, an H2 format heading right here. So this is basically for the nested tags. And another thing that you wanna know about tags, that you can actually not close these guys, and it will just display them, okay, as it is. Let me try, and if I now save and go back and refresh, you can see that we're having these guys right here. Nothing changed, but it's not advisable to do this. Okay, don't just do these things. Just close everything to avoid errors. Okay, so if you want to go back actually to the code that we wrote, just press on Control Z, okay, till it gets back like this. So this is basically it for I'm sorry, not closing the tags. So also the third thing that I want to point out is that you actually HTML code is not case sensitive. And what I mean by that, if something is case sensitive, it's different when you type it in capital or small, but HTML is not case sensitive. Okay, so if I write this one like this, okay, nothing will actually happen. It's basically the same thing. So if I just save, Control S, and if I go right there, and you can see that actually nothing happened on this one right here. So if let me go back and actually do this one again. Okay, now if I save, go back and refresh, you can see nothing actually happens right here. There is still the same elements it will display. Here we have like our elements right here. So this is basically it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys a couple of things about HTML elements. You know, they are the basis of an HTML page. Okay, so this is basically it for this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello guys, and what's going on? So in this one we're gonna talk about attributes. Okay, so we're still in our file right here. Let me just first tell you what attributes are. An attribute is basically it adds some information or another information or quality to a certain element. Okay, an attribute is supposed to be written in the first tag or the beginning tag right here. It can be written in a last tag. Okay, and attributes are basically goes this way. Let me just show you a syntax. Like, so I told you in the couple, and I guess in the first videos, like this is our syntax: tag name, and close this, and some content right here, and some HTML elements have no content, and close this tag right here, tag name, this way. So this is basically the syntax or the framework or the style of an HTML element. If we want to add the attributes, now if you go right here, the attributes needs a name and equal and double quotes, and you can do single quotes, but you know, it's like a convention to do double quotes, and it needs a value right here. So this is basically it. If you are gonna write an attribute, you are gonna need the name of this attribute and the value of it, and it will only go for this only tag right here. Okay, so if we just actually let me comment this one, and comments actually are ways of not displaying the code. If you don't want to display something on your page, you're just gonna comment it like this, and I'm gonna talk about this in the next couple of videos. Just know now, or just be concerned now, that this code will not be displayed. Okay, I'm gonna just leave it as that. So if we go ahead and actually do an anchor tag, and an anchor tag which is just basically a link. Okay, if we go like this, and I'm like these are terrible designs and stuff, but we're just trying out right here. Okay, we're not trying to build something, I'm just explaining to you what's going on. Basically, the anchor tag, to do it, is you need the A, and then you need the name of the attribute, and I'm gonna link to something right here, and the name of this attribute is going to be href, which of course hypertext reference, something like that, and the equal, and we need that link right here, and this link can be a link to another file right here in this folder, or it can be a link online. Okay, and I'm gonna just paste the w3 schools link right here, and we're just gonna close this and write the content of this anchor. I'm gonna call it w3 schools link, just like that. Okay, and we're gonna close this one right here. Okay, just extremely easy and simple one. So we need the href attribute right here, which will link to this one. So if we click on this link right here, it will just direct us to this link. So if I save this, Control S, and go back right here and refresh, you can see that we have our link right here. If we click on this link, now we go to the W3 Schools website, and of course you can put your own tag right here. You can put any tag you want, Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, any link you want right here. So this is basically it, and now I want to do another example. I'm gonna do this example with an image, and I know that these tags are pretty new to you, but I'm gonna talk about them in greater details in the next couple of videos. And now I'm gonna link an image to this page, and all I'm gonna do is that open my tag and do an image, and I need if I need to link an image, I need the source attribute, okay, which is src, and the equal, and the name of this image. Let me just close this out. It doesn't actually need an ending tag like this one right here. So I'm gonna grab my image from my folder. Let's say, let me go to here. What do you call it? Pigs. And let me grab just a little one right here. Let me grab this one. I'm gonna copy it, and of course you can just grab any image you like. Let me go back to what do you call it, our folder right here, and just paste in this right here. Okay, this is just my little old logo, and I want to just copy all of this right here, and just okay, and just write the name here so we can actually get the name of this image right here. So if I just save this one and go right here, refresh, and you can see that we got our image right here, okay, with the attribute of source. So basically that's it for the image source. You just write the source name, the source, and equal the source name, any name you have on your pic. Okay, and of course if I just go like this, which of course is not there, this name is not found, it will just display this not found image, like, you know, icon or something like that. So let me just go back, and of course we can do a little attribute right here, which is the width. We can do some styling to it, and we can do like 200, and we can do the height, of course just some CSS style. I know we didn't talk about CSS yet, but I'm just trying a little something right here, so bear with me on this one. So if we now save and refresh, and you can see right here that we can change the width and the height. Let's give this for like 500. If I refresh this, you can see right here that the width now is bigger. So this is basically how you use attributes. You just name the name and the value. Of course there's a lot of attributes when it comes to HTML elements, so but when in this video we're gonna talk about them in a little details, okay, as we go in this on this course. So that's basically it for this one, and see you in the next video. Hello developers, and what's going on? So in this one we are gonna discuss headings in a little bit. Headings are basically text or captions, titles or subtitles that you use on your web page, or that you write display on your web page, and basically you can go from 1 to 6. So this is basically it for titles. So let me just copy this whole thing, and I actually created a file right here. You can go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and create no file, and then just Control Shift S, and this will just save the file right here, and you can type the name. So this is basically it, and I'm just gonna let me delete all of this. Okay, if we go ahead and change this, the headings, all right, and now we are in the body. I forgot the body tag, closing body tag right here. Yeah, if I go ahead now and type h1, hello from my first heading, so that will basically do the trick. And I know this is getting a little repetitive. Now we are in the index.html file, and as you've seen right here, if you haven't noticed yet, actually the browser looks for our folder on this system. It uses the file extension or protocol to open this file right here. If I go ahead and type in heading, this will get our page right here. Or you can simply go ahead and click on the file right here. Let me go back to the browser, and as you may notice right here, it just leaves a little empty space. It doesn't display it right away from here. No, it just leaves a space right here. So as I was saying, it can go from 1 to 6. So now if I go ahead and give this 2, and this is second, give this 3, and this one is also 3, third, okay, third heading. If I save this, as you can see that it's getting smaller and smaller. And basically the headings are really important when it comes to search engine optimization. They're really crucial, and you have to write them, especially if you're building something like a blog or something. You might want to consider the title of the blog to be a heading. Okay, so this one should be actually really short, and this is all about headings, and that's it for this one. Hello guys, and what's going on? So in this one we're going to talk a bit about paragraphs. Okay, there is a couple of things to note about paragraphs. Yeah, we actually talked about them in the last couple of videos, but there's a lot of things also notice about paragraphs, and we're going to talk about those. Let me just first create a simple paragraph. This is a simple paragraph, just like that. And if I save this and go right here, I'm gonna type the name. I'm gonna type the name of my file. You can see right here that we have this paragraph. You notice that we also have this space right here. Every time you create a paragraph or a heading, it adds a margin at the front and a margin actually from everywhere. Okay, front, bottom, like left and right. Okay, so this is basically the first thing to note about paragraphs. The second thing is, if I try to type another paragraph, let's say this is paragraph, and if I try to make spaces just like this, we're just trying out, we don't need to make any sense of the content, and I've tried to close it, and let's say what that will give us. Do we have to see these spaces, or it will just go ahead and remove these spaces? If I try and refresh this one, you can see right here that we don't actually have the spaces, and this is basically how paragraphs act. Okay, you cannot just leave spaces like this and it will just parse it out as it is. No, it will remove the spaces right away. Even if I go like this, like a new line, if I go and refresh, you can see nothing actually happening. So what if we need to go to a new line with this one right here? What do we need to type to get a new line? We need to type another tag, which is the br tag, which gets you a new line. So this is paragraph 1, this is paragraph 2, and this is paragraph 3. Okay, just for you to go ahead and refresh and just save this, go ahead and refresh. You can see right here that we have, this is paragraph 1, this is paragraph 2 in the second line, and the same line, this is paragraph 3. Okay, let me try just one more. This is paragraph, let's say 4, 5. Let me add another BR right here, and this is paragraph 6. I go ahead and refresh this one right here. You can see that all of these guys are in the second line. Okay, let me just show you what we'll have if we have more than one BR right here. It will just give us a space right here. Okay, so this is basically how the BRs works, or the BR tags work. Okay, it just gives you a new line. Okay, and this is of course really useful when trying to write something and get it to a new line. See this on the web every day. So yeah, and there's also another tag I want to show you, which is also a tag that doesn't have any closing tags, which is the HR tag. And the HR tag basically just adds a new horizontal line. Okay, but you can see this line, it just to separate some text from the other, or some content from the other. If we go ahead and refresh this one, you can see right here we have this line right here, this black thin line. And let me just copy these guys right here and go ahead and type another HR. I know it just looks a little messy. These guys, this will be 7, will be 8, and the last one is 9. Go ahead and refresh. You can see that we have this HR line right here. So this is basically it about the paragraphs. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one, and see you in the next video. Hello guys, and what's going on? So in this one we're gonna talk about something that's really interesting, which is the style property. Okay, and the style property basically performs some style or some design on your HTML, and it's primarily concerned with CSS, which is a style or a design language. And of course it's not a programming language, it's just a cascade style sheet programming language. Okay, so we actually have 3 ways to write CSS in our HTML. We can use the style property as I am gonna show you in this video, or we are gonna use or we're gonna do like an what do you call it, a style right here. Maybe it's, yeah, it's actually in the head, not in the body. A style tag like this, and we can write our CSS right here, or we can actually do like we can write our CSS externally. Okay, we gonna just type in link, and we are gonna just link this to our, you know, to our external CSS file. Okay, but I'm gonna show you both of those guys in the next couple of videos. Today we're just gonna take a look how to use the style property. Okay, so just to recap, we have the style property, internal style tag, and the external fine link for using our CSS in our HTML. Okay, got it? Okay, so now we only gonna just write style. Just we need to perform some design on this paragraph right here, and of course as any attribute in HTML, we only have to write the attribute and the equal sign and the two of these guys right here, which is a double quotes. Okay, and let's say we have like a lot of, you know, like a large amount of style and properties and stuff that we can actually do on this single paragraph right here. And CSS is a huge language, and design on the web is actually a big deal. Okay, it's not just, of course, limited to CSS, it's limited to JavaScript and so on. Okay, there is so much you can do, but here is the formula, or here is the framework of doing it. So here you have the property, column, and this, and the value of this property. Okay, so this is basically how to write styles right here. Okay, we need the property, and we need the column and the value of this property. Let's say our property, it's gonna be the color. We need to set a color for this. Sorry about that. Then we need to set a color for the paragraph right here, and the value, let's say we want to set this color to blue. All right, so this is basically it, and we can add a semicolon right here. We don't actually have to do a semicolon just because we only have one style, but if we have more, we can go ahead and add a semicolon, or it will just not show up, and I will just show you this in a minute. Okay, so if we actually save this and go back right here to our previous page and refresh, you can see that right here we have the design. If I go and inspect on this one, okay, whatever you inspect, it will just gonna get you right away. If I inspect it on this one, see, it's gonna give me the second paragraph, but I need this one. You can see right here that the style is color blue, and we actually have the blue color right here in the style tab. Okay, we can write our CSS actually here. Okay, so this is basically how you perform the style attribute, the style attribute right here on this paragraph. Okay, we can actually do a couple more. Let's say we need to go now. Let's do it. There's no there's no headings right here. Let's just do a heading. Let's do an h2. Hello guys, and we need to close this tag, and we need to add our style attribute, and we now can add a font size, font dash size. Okay, and we can add this. Actually, yeah, it's okay, we can do a font size, it's fine, and we can set it for 25 pixels. Okay, we're gonna do this one with pixels. I know, like, a lot of things seem weird and you don't understand everything, but this is actually not a CSS course, it's just an HTML course. But if you have to learn HTML, you have to touch just even a little bit on CSS. Okay, we are gonna do this one with pixels, and it's only 25 pixels. Actually, let's just delete it right now, and let's see our heading without a property. You can see right here it's hello guys. Okay, so if we need to go back and save this and refresh, you can see that it's actually got bigger. And if you don't see it, we can just copy this right here and add a semicolon right here and just paste it right away. Okay, so if you need to add more than one, you're gonna have to do a semicolon, and it just goes on and on and on. Okay, we can add a semicolon right here, and we can write another property and value. If now we refresh, now it's on this one. You can see right here that it's actually got bigger, and we can click, can double click on this 25 pixels right here, and you can use your arrows to make them smaller, make them bigger, you know, whatever you want. So this is basically it. I believe I can even add some style to the body, and we can of course do that by using the style right here. And this one is gonna be background, and of course this is gonna snap all the background and add a color to it. And you can see that right here that we actually have some recommendations, clip, color, image. Yeah, it's actually there is a lot of them, but we are gonna go for the color and the value. Let's say it's gonna be a little hideous, but I will just, you know, I'll just have to do it. We can set it to green. Okay, so this is basically the property, this is the value. So if I refresh this, you can see that all the body now is green. Yeah, I know it looks really bad, so let me actually delete it. Okay, so you don't hurt your eyes. All right, so this is how basically you do the style. So it's really easy and simple, and as I said, don't be afraid if you don't know what, if you don't understand everything. You don't actually have to understand everything. I'm just touching on CSS, showing you how to do style, how to do these things, and I'm gonna explain a bit about CSS in the next couple of videos. So this is just for you to get a glimpse of what the style attribute is, and see you guys in the next video. Hello guys, and what's going on? So in this one we are gonna discuss something that's really simple, which are text formatting. And text formatting elements are basically some tags or elements that are used to display text in a certain way, or to format text in a certain way. Actually, you're not gonna use them this much, because if you want to format a text or you want to make a text appear a certain way, you're just gonna have to use CSS, which is the popular way, I would say. But you know, it's not a bad topic to learn or to discover, but this is just my observation. I've been coding for years now, and I actually use them very little. Okay, so we have these four guys right here, which is B for bold and strong, okay, and the I for italic and small. And we are gonna see how these guys are gonna format our text right here. So the first one is the B, and let's say this is bold, and the closing tag. That's basically it. If we refresh this one, you can see now this is bold right here. And of course, if we can actually add a paragraph here, you can just do your nested elements, whatever you like, but at the end it's gonna be like the last one right here. The closest tag is the one who's gonna be performed. Okay, refresh this, you can see right now this is bold. Okay, if we go for a second one, which was strong, this is strong text. We're gonna close this one and refresh. You can see that right here, this is a strong text. Okay, they're actually really similar, as you're seeing right now. And the last one is I for the italic. It's gonna display the text in an italic form, which is just a certain way of designing your text. This is italic, and if you probably like have some office knowledge, if you do stuff with your Microsoft Word or stuff like that, should be really coherent or logical for you. If now I refresh this, you can see that our text is displayed in this way. This is italic. Okay, and of course we have the last one, which is small. Okay, I know the page looks a little messy, but we don't need to create another file just for those 4 elements. This is really small, and save and refresh. You can see that right here this one is actually smaller than this one, and we're not actually using any CSS. It's all just certain elements right here. And if we, all right, so see you in the next video. So this one should be really simple, which is about comments. And comments is basically a way of just sending information to other developers when you're working on a project, or you're doing something big and somebody else is going to be looking at your code and you want to send them some information, some notions, some anything you want, some observations about your code, how to use this, how to do that, what this code is doing, or anything like that. You're gonna use comments. Or comments are basically a way of of hiding code, not making code works just because you want to test something, you want to do something with your code, anything like that. So this is basically how you write comments in HTML, and actually you're gonna encounter them in any programming language you're working with, and everyone has its own way of writing comments. Okay, and HTML, even CSS has its own way of writing comments, as you've seen right here. So I did these lines like a while ago, and I did them in the last video, and this is basically how you write comments. If you may have noticed that when I showed and I wrote this, actually nothing appears on my screen right here. These guys don't appear, and if let me just try and take them out, let's see what's gonna happen. And now save and refresh. Actually nothing happens because we don't have any text right here. Let me just try to type a little text right here. You can see the text right here, but if I go ahead and comment this one, and basically you're gonna do this sign, which is greater than, and exclamation mark, dash dash, and go to the other side and do dash dash and smaller than, and save. And if I go back and refresh, you can see that we don't have this one right here. Let me just go to the source of the page or the console. You can see right here that we don't actually have this code right here. The last one, actually it's right here, but it's commented. Okay, so this is basically how you do comments in HTML. Okay, so if I need to go now and comment this whole thing, you can actually and of course comment more than just a line, as I did. I can take this one right here and just display it over like I did before, and take this one and display it right and put it just right here, and none of these guys will also have any values. Okay, but what if I want to do like comment this whole thing? I'm gonna just show you how to do this in Sublime. I don't know if it's gonna be different for any other editor. If you're any other editors, you can basically just do this and go, but this is gonna like, see how it's taking us so much time to do it. How about we have like 1,000 line right here, and we want to comment all of them. You're just gonna go down the 1,000 lines, and so it's gonna be like really slow. If I refresh these guys right here, and they're basically gone. So what if I want to go back, Control Z, and I want to like comment these whole guys without with just using extensions. Okay, I can go like this, and the control and the backslash, and this is basically how you comment these guys. Decomment, comment, control and slash again. Okay, you just do it and it's gonna work right away. So it's gonna be different. I guess it's different for some editors, but it's Sublime this way. You can see right here that we have nothing as a body right here, everything just commented. Okay, so this is basically it for comments. It's really simple and you're gonna use them. Of course you're gonna use them surely, and see you in the next video. Hello guys, and what's going on? So this tutorial is gonna be really useful for you if you're gonna be a web designer, or if you want to learn CSS, you know. So this one should be really interesting, and we're gonna talk about CSS. The CSS is basically a design language. It's not a programming language. Okay, we use CSS to design our page, to do the coloring, spaces between the elements, stuff like that. And it's basically stands for cascading style sheet, or cascade style sheet. All right, so let me paste just this my text right here, and yeah, I created this file right here, css first.html. You can set it to whatever name you want, and I just had my own paragraph right here. So actually nothing new. So with CSS you can control the color, font, the size of text, the spacing between elements, how elements are positioned and laid out, what background images or background colors are to be used, different displays for different devices and screen sizes. So this is what you can do with CSS. CSS is actually a magic, a superpower when it comes to designing. Right now there's some modern stuff that can make your design cool and beautiful, interactive animations. So it's really cool. All right, hope that make sense. So in this one I'm going to show you how to write CSS in the 3 different main known ways. The first one we've talked about with the style attribute, before in the last or the previous couple of videos. We talked about the style attribute and how to use it to design stuff. And in this one we're going to talk about the internal, which is actually the internal CSS, which can be written inside the style tag, and the style tag only can be written in the head right here. And the external way, which is going to be in an external CSS file, and I'm going to show you how to create this file and how to link it to your HTML right here. All right, so just to start off, we're going to use the style attribute. And yeah, I know this is going to sound a little repetitive, but I just want to show you how to use it, and actually if we did the three ways in the same time, which one is going to take effect. So for the style right here, I'm just going to set the property of color, and I'm just showing you a dummy example. Okay, we don't need to go fancy and create a whole style page, or we don't need to design anything fancy right here. So this is, I'm setting my color right now to red. Okay, so if I just go and save this and just go to my file right here and refresh this, yeah, we actually have this one. I guess we don't need this right here, so I'm gonna comment it, and this is where you can use your comment. So it's now gonna show up. Not gonna show up, sorry. So we have right here, this one is in red. So this is basically how you use a styling attribute, style attribute, and we've talked about this before. And we are gonna go to the next one, which is the internal way, which comes with the style tag. And the style tags, you can write it in the head. It's one of those elements that you can write in the head. And now if I go style, and of course needs an ending or closing tag. Okay, if now Now the framework to write the style for the paragraph right here, it's really simple. You need to specify the element right here, or the tag that you want to do your style on, or you can actually choose an ID or a class, and these are basic attributes and we haven't talked about them yet, so I'm not gonna use them here. Okay, I'm gonna talk about them in the next couple of videos. So we're just gonna have to use the element right here, and after the element we're gonna do our brackets, open them, and we need a property and the value, as you may guess. So it's basically just like the style attribute, but it's different. We need the element itself right here, and we need these guys right here. Okay, so for this one, my element is B. I just go and to copy this, and my property, let's set this one to let's set it to color, and let's see what's gonna happen. And the value, let's set it to yellow. Yeah, just like that. So if I go ahead and let's save this, you can see if I refresh this one, you can see that actually nothing happens. So why this is happening? Because the last one, or the one that will override them all, is the inline way right here. Okay, in the style right here. This is gonna override the other two methods. So if I go ahead and just remove this one, or actually remove the whole thing, just like this, and save, fresh, you can see right here our text right here is getting the yellow color, because it just read this. That actually happens when we try to execute our HTML file, like the interpreter or the engine just goes off from top to bottom and applies applies every line. So it gets right here and sees the style and overrides all the styling that's going on right here. Okay, so if I go ahead and I want to do another property and value, let's set this one for background color. It's right here, and if I set this, I know it's gonna look really ugly, but if I set this to black, I know my page will look really ugly. If I refresh right here, you can see that we have actually the background whole as a whole in just black. So as you've seen right here, it's so simple. You just have to add these semicolons right here, and you can't leave it for the last one. But if you have to write another property and value, you'll have to write it. Okay, just like here. So this is basically for the internal with the style tag. Now, what if we want to perform our own external file? Sometimes you will have to write a lot of CSS, and you can just use the style right here. This will get like take a lot of space, so you can actually write your own style in another file right here and link this style in this page right here. So how to basically do this? So I just commented this one, and if I go ahead and create a file right here for our design, you can call this style.css. You can call it whatever you want, okay, but I just like to call it style. It's a convention between programmers, I guess. So I'm gonna also define this as a CSS style file, because of course the CSS, it all makes sense. So if I were to save this, you can see that we have our CSS, that's style.css right here, and you can't write any HTML here or anything here. You only just have to write your own CSS. So if I were to go ahead, and this is like my file right here, let's say I only have the paragraph right here. Let's create another element, which is going to be h1 hello from heading 1. Okay, if I were to close this, okay, and we want to perform our CSS on this one. So what's basically gonna happen is the same thing that happened here. We only just gonna have to go to our CSS style. Okay, we are gonna write our element. Let's say it's h1, and we are gonna perform whatever we want, like inside our brackets right here. So we need a property and we need a value. Now for the property, let's say let's use color. Okay, and for the color I'm just gonna use blue. If now I were to save this one and go ahead and refresh, you can see that actually nothing happens right here. So why is that? Because we didn't actually link our style.css file to our CSS first.html file. So how to do this? And as I said, like in the first couple of videos, if we like the CSS files we need to link, will go right here in the head tag. Okay, so how to basically do this? We're just gonna open our tag right here, write in link, and this is the tag. Okay, and we need our property, which is gonna be real, is a relation, and the relation is style sheet, and we need like the path for this file, which is href, which is hypertext reference. Okay, and we need to close these guys right here, and we need the name of our file, which is style.css. So and just close this one, and it doesn't have a closing tag. It's one of these elements. So this is basically how you do it. The relation, the real here stands for relation, and this is the style sheet. This is like, you know, the main point of this link. We're telling the link that what we need to get is a style sheet from this one, and the href is like the path for the folder. Okay, the reference of the folder. Okay, so if we were to save this and refresh now, we can see that our color right here has applied. If we go ahead to our CSS file and set this to green, refresh this one right here, we can see that it's now actually turning to green. So this is basically for the external file right here. And if we need to do like one for the paragraph, if we go ahead and just can do this, and for, let's do a font size right here, we can see 30 pixels, and save this, go back right here. Okay, we refresh this, you can see now it's a little bigger than before. So this is basically it. So now if I go back to my HTML file right here, and if I were to go and add a style for this one, okay, and add a color, and let's say this color is what is the last color? Yeah, I didn't actually add any colors for the paragraph. So what if I were to choose blue for this one right here? It's actually gonna affect this color right here. But if I were to go right here and just implement a font size for this one, so I just need a semicolon right here, and just copy and paste this, Let's keep this one for about 40, or let's keep it just 50. Okay, and save this and just refresh it again. You can see right here it's actually the one that's taking effect is this one right here, and I can actually confirm that in multiple ways. I can add a color right here for this one, and I can set this one to green right away. It's okay, it's fine. Yeah, if I were to refresh this, it's not actually going, or it's not actually like taking effect. The one that's taking effect, the method like the attribute style right here, because this is the last one which will override all of these guys right here. So I know this one was a little long, but it was a good way to explain how CSS is written, how it works, and all of that. So this is basically it, and sorry if the video is long, guys. I'm sorry about that, and see you on the next video. Hello developers, and what's going on? So in this one we are going to talk about links, and links are basically just anchors, or just a way for the user to move around in your website, or to go on other websites, or to go to certain pages on your website. Okay, and it's basically it's really important. Okay, no page or no website that doesn't have any links. Every website gotta have links. Okay, so we're just gonna take a look at those today. So if I comment these guys out, I'm still in my CSS first.html file, and if I were to go and create a link, we're just gonna type the E, which stands for an anchor, and I'm gonna do the href, which we've been using right now, equals and double quotes, and the link of the website. Let's say I want to go to, let's say I want to go to something like LinkedIn. Okay, you're just gonna copy the link, and of course this can be any link you want. And if I were to go close this one, and now I need a content because it's needs a closing tag. Let's say my link, and close this one like this. And if I were to save, now go back and refresh this one, I only have my link right here, and if you can see right down there, there is some link that appears. Go back right here, yeah, and it's LinkedIn link. So if I were to go and click it, it will just take me back to LinkedIn. So this is basically it for links. But what if I want this link to be redirected, or to be open in a new tab like this? Okay, I don't need to go every time and just click right click on it and just click like this. I want to just click it just like this and go to another tab right here, and this one is going to be achieved by the target link. Okay, so target is basically which allows you to boot your link back to another tab. And we can do self, and self is basically the default value. It will just keep it like in the same link as we're doing it. But what if we need to move to another tab? We need to use blank. Okay, like this. And if I save this one, refresh right now, if I click it, you can see right here, just opens right away in another new tab. So yeah, this is target. It's really useful. Okay, I have also another attribute I want to talk about, which is the title. If I were to go to the title, and let's say this is my normal link If I were to refresh this and go back right there, and if I hover over it, you can see that we have our little, oh yeah, we have our little tooltip, or a little message that appears right here on when I hover over my link. So yeah, you can of course tweak this as as you want or as you like. And what if we go back to our href and we want to go to another file right here, to one of these files right here? We can actually do this by only writing the name of the file. So it's pretty simple. Let's say we want to go to the index.html, and you can see right here we have the index right here in the same folder. And if we were to just save this and refresh it, we now click, it will just open the index right away in another page. Okay, we can actually try paragraphs. It's just right here, and we can set this to self, so it will open in just the same page. Okay, no new tabs. We refresh, click right now, and you can see right here that we are getting our paragraphs .html file. Of course, you can link to any file you want, but if you link to CSS, it will not make any sense. Okay, so this is basically it for the links. They're really useful. You're gonna use them a lot. And thanks for watching this video. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another video. And this one we're gonna talk about images. I guess we've talked about it before, but I will go in a little bit of detail about it. Okay, so basically the tag image allows you to embed or reserve some space for images on your page. Okay, and you actually know that you already know that images are really important. Okay, they are really important when talking about media, so you're gonna use this one a lot. So basically, to do this, you're gonna type in image, or EMG, just short for image, and we have a lot of attributes to talk about here. First of all, the required one is a source attribute. Okay, press on equal and our double quotes right here. So here we need to define our image in this one. So if we go right here, I have another image which is called pro.gbg right here. So if I go ahead and type it in, pro.gbg, and if I close this one just like this, it's really simple and easy. And let me comment this one out. So just highlight it, control and backslash, sorry. So if I just save again, refresh, you can see but the image is kind of huge right here. So if I go back, and I can set to it a width and a height. Okay, it's just normal attributes. The width is gonna be like 200, the height, let's give it also 200. And you can increase this or decrease this at whatever you want. If I refresh this back, we can see that our image is basically right here. Okay, so but what if our image is like in another folder right here? How can we do this? So if I go and create a file right here, let's call this create a folder, let's call this images, and I'm gonna just move this right here. If I were to go and refresh this one, you can see right here this the icon appears that actually shows that we are having a problem showing our image is not found. So yeah, it's not found. So how to basically do this one? Actually shown here that our image pro.jpg is not found in the console. Okay, it's just an error. So how do we get this? We can actually just go right here and move into the folder or navigate through the folder by doing a backslash and the name of the folder, which was images, and just backslash again to just separate the image from the folder name. And if we were to save this and push this back, and we can see that we're actually getting, if let's just remove this, yeah, it's actually happening right here. So this is basically it. We didn't actually need the slash right here in the beginning. So you can see how easy this is. So if we were to go back and do another folder right here, I'm just gonna try a little something. Let's call this parent. Okay, and if we if we get this folder inside of this one and we refresh, you can see that's not showing because we need to get our little folder here again. If we now save this and refresh, and you can see that it's actually getting our image back. So this is basically how to map through folders and get your image, or if it's basically in the same path or in the same directory, you'll just have to write the image name right away. So I hope that makes sense. So we have another attribute to talk about, which is the alt or the alternative attribute, which actually you can write a text inside it or a message that will pop up when the image is not there. Okay, sometimes it's just the internet is slow and you want to point something out to the user that this image is actually talking about this or describing this, or whatever you want to write here in the alternative text. So if we go, this is my programming image, and if we save this one, can just refresh this. If we now the image is showing right now, so we won't get our alternative text. But if we were to go and just delete these guys right here, which is actually wrong, which will not show the image, and if we were to go refresh this, you can see that the text right here is showing up, telling us what this image is about. Sometimes you'll just use it in slow internet connections, stuff like that. It's actually really SEO friendly. So yeah, this is basically it. And for the width and height, I just want to point out that it's not a good use actually to use them. A better use if you want to design stuff, you have to use a style attribute. Okay, but I just did those guys here just to save us some time. Okay, so this is basically it for the images. Of course, if you want to add another one, you can just copy this one right here, and we can do the WC. I guess it was, let me just check. Yeah, it was JPG also. If we save this, refresh back, you can see that our second image is right over here. And yeah, if it's inside a folder, you'll have to type it and then slash, as we've seen in this video. So this is basically it. Bye. Hello guys, and what's going on? So on this one we're going to talk about tables, but before we do that, I just want to give you some little info about images. You can actually link an image from online, or from an online, from the internet, not just a link on your PC. So to basically do this, you can go to this website right here, placeholder.com, and just like scroll to that down here, and you can like copy this one. This is basically a placeholder, a link for an image, or you can just open it up like in like this, and you can copy it. And if we go to our last file, and if I go and replace it with this one right here, if I save this, you can see right here, if I refresh, that I have my image right here. We can actually try another one. Let's just scroll down. Yeah, we have like 300 right here. If I copy this and replace, I can just set this to 300. It's basically the same link. You just save. I go back and refresh. Now we have 300 image. Okay, if we inspect it, you can see right here, it's actually, here is the source of the image. All right, sounds great. So now I created another file right here, tables, and we are gonna just go with tables now. So what are basically tables? Tables are basically data containers. That's it. They are just any like any other tables that you will see. Okay, it's just they contain data, or they outline your data. And I wouldn't say I use them a lot, but you might be, who knows. I don't usually or often use them, but let's go and just do an example right here. So to create a table, yeah, you've guessed it, we need the table tag, and of course we need to close it. All right, and now we need the tr, and we're gonna close the tr. The tr basically stands for table row, because every table is just a couple of rows. And right here we need a table head, th, and let's name this one id, and let's close it. And we need another one, another th, basically just a simple table head. Give this name, and we're gonna close this one. This is actually th, and if we just copy this one real quick, so I don't use that much time. All right, so basically this is the first table row, and these guys are the table headers. So if I go right now, table tr, another table row, we're gonna close this tr, and I'm gonna just do a little table data ed, and now we need an id. Let's see an id of 1, and let's close this. And if I copy this, control C, control V again. Now gonna keep this name. Yeah, it's actually not a name, we need this as an age. Okay, if we keep this one as my name, you can write whatever name you want, and let's see, the age is just 20. If I copy this whole thing and just paste it right here, let's say this too, and this is, let's say, Raj. Yeah, I know you guys Now let's get this once more. Let's keep this. That's fine, 23 is fine. Let's keep the ID for 3 and the name as, let's say, Sam, and we can keep this one as 24. So this is basically how you create a table. You need this table tag, you need a couple of rows. The first row is the table for the table headers, and the second row is the data, like the third row is also data, and the fourth row is also data right here. Okay, and you can of course create as many table rows as you can. Just keep in mind to keep the number of the table data as the number of the table headers. Okay, but you can create any number you want, but we'll just go with this. Now if I save this and go right here to tables, my file, you can see right here that we have our own table, but it looks pretty ugly, so I'm just gonna design this a little bit. If I go to the table and give it style attribute, I'm gonna keep the width, and this is the width of the element for 100%. And I know that you guys don't know a lot of CSS, but basically this will just keep keep everything will make everything gets its whole width of container. Okay, this is basically it for the width. Just refresh this, you can see that everything now got its own whole container. Okay, if I put this to reset back, but let's just keep it as that. Okay, and now I need to design to give it some borders so it's gonna look a little nicer, and I'm gonna just do this by using the style tag, as this is where we utilize what we've learned in the last videos. And I'm just gonna give the table and TD and TH. Yeah, and you can actually give more than one element the same style. Okay, you'll just have to do your little comma right here, and this is the style we're gonna write right here. It's gonna be affect all these guys. Okay, so it'll affect the TD and the TR. So if I go ahead and give it a border, and a border is basically an outliner, it's a wrapper border. I'm gonna give it style of solid, and I'm gonna give it border size, and this only is gonna be 1 pixel, and also border color green. And if I save this, let's see what we have right here. You can see right here it looks a little nicer. So basically what we did in this video is just creating a table. Alright, and we give the table a whole width, so everything can get its whole width. Okay, because everything that's created, every element that's ever created gets a certain width once it's created. Okay, but we're setting it to get the whole length of it, and we're giving it, like here we're giving a table, and the table data right here, and the table header, we're giving him a border, okay, which is basically an outliner, and we can actually remove all of these three, and we can write the whole thing in one line. I'll just show you this real quick. I hope that you don't get confused, okay, because this is a CS video. 1bx solid green, but we can just, you know, can just leave CSS out. Everything will like just look so ugly. So if we actually remove all these guys right here and save this and refresh, you can see right here nothing actually happens. So we can write all of these just in one line, which actually looks a little bit nicer and smarter. Alright, so I hope that makes sense. If you want to like grab another record real quick, give this 4, and let's keep this you know, just Arab name. Let me give it like 25. If we see this one, we'll just add another more record right here. So basically this is it for tables. I hope that everything makes sense, and see you guys in the next video. So now we are gonna look at another data wrapper, which are lists. Okay, so basically let's just group or wrap data up in a certain way, which is actually different from tables. Okay, and we're gonna see that, but in a minute I'm gonna show you what happened. I just created a list file right here, and I'm gonna just do some examples. And I think we need to know about lists also, that we have different kind of lists. In this video I'm gonna just explain ordered and unordered lists. Alright, so let me just start with creating my own comment right here. Let's start with ordered lists. Alright, and basically do this. All you have to do is just to go, you know, OL, which is basically a short for order list, and close this and start one again and OL, as any other tag or element you wrote. So now inside we need some other items, which is, or other tags, which are li, and close this. And now we need the content right here, and we need to close, we need to write our closing tag. Okay, so basically the li, the L is just for list, and the I for item. It's basically for just a list item right here. And of course we can add as many as we want. Alright, so if I just go and list some programming languages, just a dummy example. Now we need to write another one. Let's say this one's gonna be PHP li. Now if I just copy this, Control S, Control V, and V again. If I'm sorry about that, that was my phone. So basically, as I was saying, I was just copying this and adding some dummy data right here. Let's say this one C++, and this one right here is Python. Right, sounds great. Now if I save this one and go right here to my list file, refresh this one, you can see that we have our list right here. Let me just zoom this in, and you see that we have our list right here. Now I can actually add more as we want. Let me save this one to Ruby. Right, now we have our 5th item right here. You can actually set this if you want to display this in another way, as like non-numbered ways, you can just go right here and type in this attribute type, and we can set this a, and if we save this, will now become A, B, C, D, E, and we can set it also to Roman numbers, I right here, and you can see right here we have our own Roman numbers. And of course you can copy this and add a little more and add as many lists as you want. Now if I were to go and comment this one, so we can go to the next list, is unordered list, and as you may have guessed, we need now the UL, which stands for the unordered list. Now UL, and just the same way, okay, LI, which stands for list item. Now let's give this one for frameworks, I say Laravel LI, and this one Bootstrap, which is just a CSS framework. No, I'm sorry about that. This is LI, this is actually the content. Okay, LI, and just me just copy a little more, and this one, let's see, cake PHP, and the last one is Node.js. And if we go back and refresh this one, you can see that we have our unordered list right here. So if I go now if I go now and I want to change like the style of these bullets right here, I can basically do this with my attribute style, and the property is going to be list dash style type, and I can set this one to let's say square. Well, let's just see what it gives us. Fresh, now we can see them as squares, and you can see this to circles. There's this. No, it's not, that's not true. As square circles, yeah, we can set it as disk. Okay, this back, now it's giving us the disk. Let's set this to circle. All right, yeah, this is basically it for, you know, it's basically it for the unordered list. All right, so this is basically it for this video. It should be really short, and lists are prominent, so you're gonna use them a lot all over your page. All right, so this is it for this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. So now we've talked a bit about lists. I'm gonna just create with you guys the simple navigation menu so we can train what we've learned, and you can expect this and as an exercise and just follow along with me. Okay, so basically we're gonna create an ordered list, and we're gonna design it a little using CSS. And don't be afraid, it's gonna be really simple. CSS is very predictable, and you just use it a lot. And it's not that hard. Okay, and we're not gonna write a lot of CSS. Actually, it's really basic exercise, so you just follow along. So first of all, we're gonna create our unordered list. If you haven't created, of course, this file, just go ahead and create it, and we are gonna type in our list items. Let's call this one, yeah, actually we are gonna use our anchors right here, and of course you can use any tags inside this list items. We're gonna set this one href nothing, which is basically a hash. It's just a convention. If you don't want to write anything in the href, you write your hash. Okay, so let's give this for home. Let's close this one, and let's close the list item. Okay, and just copy this, Control C, F just twice. Let's call this about. This one is contact. Alright, so if we save this one, you can actually just right click on this and open in the browser. You can see right here that we have our list right here, our unordered list right here. So we're just gonna need to design this a little bit. So of course, to design this one, we're gonna need a style tag right here. Let's close it, and now we need to snap the unordered list so we can perform a design. And our first thing that we need to do is just clip off or make the margin and padding for 0, and basically the margin is the space around the element itself. Okay, so basically we wanna when we come over here, we want to like eliminate all of these spaces right here. This is basically the margin, and the padding is for clipping also the spaces, but in borders. Okay, so we want to clip every space, or we want to remove every space right here. So if we go to the margin 0, and the padding also is 0. Okay, and we want to eliminate these like bullets right here. And for this one, we're gonna go ahead and start a list style type, and this is gonna be none. Okay, so if we refresh, if we save this one and go ahead and refresh, you can see that we got our these guys right here this way. So actually we can perform some other certain and we also need to do an overflow, which will also clip our content right here. We'll clip some of the spaces around our content. And the last one, we are gonna do a background color is gonna be red. Alright, so if we save this one, go back right here and refresh, and see right here that we got this background color right here. So now we need to snap the list item. Okay, so we can actually deal with every item right here. So let me just explain how this will goes. So yeah, if I snap on this one, you can see the list item is the whole thing, like from the home to like to the far width. If I go for the anchor, it's just basically the text. Okay, and the UL is the whole thing, as you've seen right here. Okay, so like it's highlighted in here. So if I go ahead and just try to get my list item, and we're only gonna do one thing, which is the float. And the float will basically remove all of these list items to the left. Okay, for the float you can set it to left, right, you know, top, bottom, but now we need to just set it to the left. Okay, so we can get everything on the left, and you can see right here that we're getting all of these guys on the left. Okay, so now what we need is to just change the color of these guys, and we want to make like some padding so we can have some spaces between them. Okay, and we want to just remove the line under them. So basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna snap the eye. And if you want to go for what do you call it, you want to go for an element inside another element, you'll have to write, you know, the parent first and the child. Okay, the parent is the, what is that? Yeah, actually this, well, this is supposed to be like this. So if you want to go for the child, you're gonna, which is the anchor right here, you're gonna have to write the parent right here. So if we go like this, and let's set the color for let's set it for white, and let's do the text decoration, let's set it to none, and this basically will make the text decoration, it will just delete it or remove it. And now we need some padding, and padding will, let's set it for 16 pixels. And basically the padding, as I said earlier, it's basically some spaces between the elements. Okay, so by now I save this, refresh it. And so actually the overflow was supposed to be hidden, not none. Okay, and if I save this, go back and refresh, you can see that right here we have our menu. Okay, so now we need to center it a little bit, and we are gonna just go for text align, and that will center our content. Okay, so basically we're actually done right here. So for our last thing, we want to just we want to add a hover effect for our content right here. So the hover effect will basically, we'll basically just do an action when we hover over these anchors right here. So we want the background color to be white, and we want the color to be black. Okay, so now if we save this, refresh, and see right here that we get like some nice effect right here. So this is basically the menu. It was just a simple example of how an order, of how to do some CSS with your order list. Of course, like so yeah, this is basically it, and thanks for watching. Hello guys, and what's going on? So in this one we are going to be working with forms, which are all over the place, starting from your Facebook login page, you know, Instagram login or register page. Like, forms are really crucial and important on the web. Okay, and forms, as you might know, they just ways, or just a mean to collect data from the user and process it using some back-end languages, language. Okay, so basically the main idea of forms is to collect data. Okay, just like the forms, you know, on paper, they're basically the same thing. So this is our page right here, our HTML document with like the file forms right over here, and we are going to do just a form. Okay, and basically to create a form on the web, it's really easy. You just have to go form tag, and let me close this. And this is actually going to take a couple of videos. Okay, forms are a big deal on the web. So to go over here, we can do some labels, which is basically what the text that the user will see. Okay, just to indicate what this input for, and we need to do our for right here. And you can write this, you can write it like whatever you want. Let's say this is for first name, and we are gonna call this first name. We are gonna close this one. All right, so now we are gonna start with our input or text field. Input. There's a lot of things that you can put on your form. Okay, so this is why it's gonna take a couple of videos to do this. So basically, we can do input type of text fields. We can do check boxes. We can do select boxes. We can do text areas. Just a whole lot of them. And for this one, we are gonna do an attribute right here, which is the type, which actually defines the type of this input. And we can do this one as text. Okay, and we need another attribute right here. Let's call yeah, it's actually name. Okay, and name is basically just a reference. When you're working with your backend, you're gonna use this to insert or update or delete data. So the name is actually really important, and we can call this f name just for the first name. And it's basically you don't need a closing tag for this one. So if I just copy these guys right here and just paste them again, just to save you some time, we can call this let's say we can keep this whole one as a name. You can say this also as a name. All right, just to make it more real life, and we can keep this one as email, and we can also copy this and keep this for email. You can actually write this for whatever you want, but let's just keep it as that, just to be more clear. And the input type, we can keep it as text, or we can actually set it as an email. They're basically the same thing. And this one, we're gonna keep it as an email. And let me just do one more. All right, so we can set this as password, the password, and we can copy it right here, and we can give the name as password, and we're gonna set the type as a password. All right, so I need to do some BRs right here, so we can get a new line for every one of these lines right over here. All right, so if I save this whole thing, and I will just go for my forms page and just refresh, you can see right here that we got the name, which is the label. Let me open up my inspect element. Okay, the label is the name right here, and if we click on this icon right here, you can see the input, which is right here with the name and the type is text. And you can see in the next one the email input right here. All right, and the name is also here, and it just goes on and on. If we try actually and write something right here, we can say can put whatever name you like, and we can go whatever you like. And if we try go ahead and write the password, okay, maybe there is something wrong with the type. Password, yeah, there was something wrong. We actually have more than 2 S's right here, so we actually password was wrong. So if I save this, if I go right here and refresh, I can just type it in real quick. Email. Just I want to show you how the password displays when we write it, just as you see every day on the web. If I try to write the password, you can see right here actually appears as dots. Okay, so this is basically the difference between the types. If we set it to text, it's gonna like show up as a text, but if we set it as a password, okay, the input type, it's gonna show up as a password, and that's only logical, right? So we can actually add another input right here. Let me just add a BR. right, for this one, and we can add an input of type of text, sorry, not text, just a button. All right, and we can name this one as submit, and let's see what we have. Okay, and basically, yeah, this input type button name submit, yeah, the name is basically submit. If we now just save and refresh, you can see that right here we have like an input, but we don't actually have a value for it. So if we set a value, which is another attribute, it will give us, you know, a name for this button. Now we can set the value for submit, refresh, and we can see here the submit value in the input right here. So basically this is what the value does when you write an input type of button. But when you write it for an input type of any let's say of a type of text, let's just try it out. And I know like this is a lot to take on one video, but you know, this is going to be a really useful example when you write forms. Okay, and you don't actually need to memorize anything here, just understand and don't try to memorize. Okay, and for this value right here, I can put the email as at gmail.com. Okay, so I'm setting a value for the input. If we save this, refresh back, you can see that we have our email right here. So to recap, the value when you write it for a type of button, it's basically the writing on this button. Okay, but when you set it for a type of text, it's basically going to be the value, the real value for this text, as you've seen right here. Okay, so yeah, this is basically it, and these are not everything in this form. So basically, let's recap what we're doing right here. So forms are basically a way of collecting data on the internet, and they're processed by some back-end language. Okay, and we have two types for now, or two things for now to use with forms. First of all, a label and the input. Okay, the label just basically tells the user on the screen what to do with this input. Like this one is for name, this one for email, and this one for password. All right, and the input is the actual text field, or the actual input. Okay, and we have two main attributes for now. We have the type, which dictates the type of this input. It can be text and it can be button. Okay, there's actually too many of them, but we're just getting started with forms right now. And we have the second attribute, which is the name, and you can set this to anything you want. It's just basically a reference that you set for dealing with the back end later on, or dealing with some other programming language to collect this data later on. Okay, and we have right here a last thing, the value attribute. Okay, which differs from like the input with a type of button, basically like the writing on the button, and for like the input of type text, it's basically the main value that you write on the text right here. So yeah, this is basically our forms, just in a simple, very simple terms. And in the next couple of videos, we're gonna take a deeper look at forms. All right, so this is basically it for this one, and see you in the next video. So now to the next form video, which is also really interesting and important, and we're going to talk about in this one about select button and text area. And actually you have a lot of form elements. If you guys look at this one, let me just paste it right here. these are like the 4 elements that we can use. Okay, and there is a whole lot more, but we will not discuss every one of those because it just take a little too much. I already did input, label. I'm gonna do select, text area, and button, and he can look up these guys. They're basically really simple. So yeah, let me just comment those, and let's go back to our form element stuff. So now to create a select, so we can start by just describing or explaining what select box is, which is basically a data collector like the input, but it gives you like too many options to choose from, or like pre-written options to choose from. And if we just go ahead and write in select, as you may have noticed, it's very predictable, and we can specify a name, and as I said, the name is just a reference for the back-end processing. Let's name this one gender. All right, and now we need to write our options, and just close this option. And yeah, we actually need the value right here. Let's say this one male, and the content male, and just copy this a little more, female, and here female, and this one is other. All right, so type it in real quick. And now if I save this one, let's say we want to type something right here, we can do a table, we can do, sorry, a label. Yeah, can save this one as for gender, and we can also go choose, what would you call it, gender. So yeah, let me just copy this one, or got it, and get it right here. All right, and just move this, and now if I save this one, let's say our select, we refresh, now you can see that we have our select just right here. If I now do one other more PR, we can get a new line. Yeah, let's just do one more. Save this, and yeah, so we can get this page, so the form can look a little more nicer. So we have our, actually let me do another one right here. So yeah, this is basically it. Now it says choose gender, which is the label. If I inspect on this one, you can see right here the label here, and here you go, our select box right here with the value and everything, and with its options. All right, so what if I want to, like, when the page loads again, I want to give the user a pre-selected option from this. You can basically write, your attribute which is selected, and when you write it, this one's gonna be selected once the user opens the page. So if now I refresh, you can see that one that's pre-selected is female. Now if I try it, let me just cut it here and go for male, and just save and refresh. You can see right here that male is already selected right there for us, and it's actually by default the first one is going to be selected. All right, so this is basically it for the selection box. It basically gives the user some options to choose from. All right, so up to the next one, which was on the text area. All right, so let me just go down here, text area, and we are gonna do some calls, which are basically the columns, and this basically dictates the number of columns that you will have. Let's say 10 columns, and rows, and this also will dictate the number of rows that you are gonna get. And let's also do a name. I'm actually writing the name just to let you know it's really important. And let's say this data, and just set a dummy name for now, and can close this one, text area, just like this. And if we save this one, let me do both of these guys right here. And now let's refresh. You can see right here that we got our own select box. If we're gonna increase the number of rows, let me increase it to 20, so it can look a little bigger. It's actually a lot bigger. We need to increase this guy, and this one, let's set it for 15. All right, so let's keep this as 10. We now save, and now if we refresh, you can see right here we got our text area. All right, so if we need some content inside the text area that's already shown, we can go just some. Here is, let's say, here is my bio, just a little something. If we refresh, you can see right here we got our content in here. So this is basically it, the text area, which is just another big input that you set on your page if you want to collect some data which is bigger than an input. All right, so you can dictate everything, the columns, rows, and of course the name. So yeah, it's pretty simple, easy, and you're gonna do it a lot. So last one is the button, and we already have a button on this input right here, okay, which is a type of button, but there is also, you can set your own button without using the input. We can just do button right here, and it's basically the button it's just a clickable button to collect data, or to submit data to this form, or to just do any other processing on the page. And the button, let's set it to a name. Let's set it to submit. All right, and we'll just delete this one later, and let's close this one. And as you've seen right here, we can see the name as submit. All right, and we don't need a type for the button right here because it's already a button. Okay, and if we save this one and go right here, we can see that we have two types of buttons right now. If we go ahead and just comment this one right over here and refresh this, and see that we have our button right here. There it is. Okay, if we click on it, okay, nothing will actually happen. It's just sending this data that we have on our forms right here, but nothing usually happens. Okay, we're just working on some content. So yeah, this is basically it for the button. And if I want to just do this, is gonna be a little JavaScript, so don't freak out. It's just a programming language, and this one should be really easy. So if I want to just do something, when I click on this button right here, it can just like display a symbol tab right here, just to show you that the button just is clickable. And on click, we're gonna do, let's see, alert, It's just we're gonna show some little alert. Hello from alert. Alright, so this should work. If I now save this one and go ahead and refresh, if I click on here, you can see that right here, hello from inbot. So yeah, this is basically it for the form. These three form elements. Hope you guys liked it. Okay, just don't freak out, everything is fine. Okay, yeah, I know it's getting a little bigger and bigger every time, but you know, you'll just get there and do it. So yeah, see you in the next video. So now to another form video, and we're getting to the end of the form. We have these guys right here. We have radio, button, checkboxes, and files. Basically, we've talked in the previous videos about some input types, and we're gonna take a look at those guys right here. We talked about the input type text, talked about password, and we talked about the input type button. But today we're gonna take a look at radio button, which allows you to choose from different choices, and the checkbox is pretty similar to the radio button, and the file allows you to download a file. Okay, we're not gonna actually download it. Let's you just choose a file from your PC. To download a file, you need to work with some backend language like PHP, Ruby, C#, something like that. So let me just paste this right here. This is how you actually write your radio input. Okay, so just take a look, pause the video. I didn't want to do all of this in the video, so we'll make it too big. So just take a look, and we look right here. We have the input right here. We have the type, which is radio, and the value is the teacher. Now let me just add a label right here. For on job, let me call it choose your job. All right, so now if I add just a br right here, we get a new line. All right, so now we have the input type of radio, and the value is a teacher, and the name is a job. And we have the label right here, and we have also another input, and you have to keep the name the same thing in the whole three inputs right here, or it will choose all of them. Okay, but obviously when you try to use a radio button, you only have to let the user, to make the user just choose one thing. Okay, one option only. So this one we have also a type radio, and we have the value as a doctor, and we have also some label right here, and the last one we have the radio type as radio also, and the value as alert. And as you can see in here right here, you can just save this after type it, of course. And if I'm going to go right here and just refresh, you can see that right here I can only choose one of these guys. If I now go ahead and inspect on them just to see how our code looks in the console, you can see right here that we have radio buttons right here. Alright, so this is basically it for radio buttons. They allow a user to choose something. Alright, only one thing. Now if we go ahead and also do some checkbox example, let's say this one, if you're like, of course you're on Facebook or you're on any other like social media website, they will allow you to log in, and sometimes you have this checkbox that allows you to if you click on it, you'll just it says like remember me. Okay, remember me. It will just, you know, the next time you are gonna go and use your website or gonna log into your account, it will be already logged in. And this is basically what our checkbox is. You know, it's just a test case. This is what basically a checkbox is used for. If I go right over here and input and type, it's gonna be a check box right here, and the name, let's say remember me, and we can do just a symbol label right here, for remember me, and remember me, which is going to be the content of the label. Okay, now if we save this, refresh that, you can see that right here you can see right here, hopefully you're seeing this one. Okay, it's right here, it says remember. Let me just get back. Yeah, remember me, and we need a PR right here. Oh, no, it's not right here, it's right here. Alright, so this is basically how it works. Alright, so this is basically for those two. Now if I go to the last one, which is the file, as of course it's pretty similar. All we have to do is just type an input, type file, and we of course can set a value, we can set a name, let's set a name, my file, and this is basically it. So for now, let's just like do some other label right here, so because why not, my file. You can write this as for the for, you can write any name you want, and of course right here you can also write any name you want, my file. Alright, but of course for the types are choosing words, so you can type anything, so you can't type anything you want, and the names, of course you can type anything you want. So if I save this one, go right here, also refresh, you can see that right here we have a choose file like button. If we click on it, now we can just go ahead and download or upload, actually not download, upload any file we want. If we actually go to pics, and if we pick this picture right here, you can see the name of the picture is right here. And do it again, you can see the name of the picture right here. Alright, so let me do some BR. And as you're seeing right here, it's just a pretty simple input, and not only just pics, you can also choose like a file of txt right here. Alright, so basically when you're gonna choose your file, it's just gonna appear right here. And so yeah, this is basically it for the input, the checkbox, and the radio buttons, and see you guys in the next video. So we're just getting up there, and this one is all about some form attributes. Okay, there is basically multiple attributes for the form, and the most important ones are action and method. So basically we're just gonna go right up here and do an action attribute. An action basically just allows the form to go to a certain page so it can perform its own back-end operations. Okay, every form to be processed has to go somewhere, or has to be processed on the back end using some file. Let's see, we're gonna just do like file.php, and this basically, this form is gonna process this one right over here. if we actually go ahead and save this and try to click on the button right here, it will just give us, you know, it will just give us nothing. Actually, it will just tell that the file.php does not exist. It does not exist, which is actually fair because we don't actually have it here. So this is basically, I'm actually not gonna do some PHP work because I don't want to confuse you. Just, you know, just like know right now, or keep in mind right now that the action is concerned with the back end. Okay, the back end file that's gonna do the form processing is file.php, or whatever actually any file name that you write here. So this is basically it for the action. Now the second thing is the method, and the method basically allows you to choose an HTTP request, or to do an HTTP request to process this file right here. And we have like two main PHP requests. We actually have 4, but I'm gonna talk about only get and post right here. Okay, so basically every time like a form is processed through some file, this file is gonna do some operation with the whole form. Okay, and the get, if we choose get right here, we just go like this. This method right here only collects the data in the URL, just like right here right now. Okay, these data are sent through the whole URL, and it's actually limited. It's a limited small amount of data. So yeah, this is basically for the get method. Okay, and we also have the post method. If we try it right over here, of course I'm not gonna save or anything because we don't actually have a file to process through. I'm just this is like some theoretical knowledge, but when you're gonna work with the back end, you're gonna use those two a lot. All right, and if you don't work with the back end and you want to be a front end developer, it's just good to know. It's just good to know. If you're a front end developer, you're actually gonna work on the back end. So because you're gonna be work someday with a back end developer, okay, and just process stuff. Okay, it's inevitable. So you have to know them. If either you're a front end developer, either you're gonna be a front end developer or a back end developer. All right, there's just web protocols. All right. So the second one is post, and the post processes like the form. And basically sends large amount of data compared to get. Okay, the data is unlimited when using the post method. The post method doesn't send the data to the URL. Okay, it actually just after like using the method, it just sends you to some other page but it doesn't send the data right here in the URL. That's why it's actually it's more used. It's mostly used than the get method right here, because sometimes you'll need to send some sensitive data, and get will just show every bit of information you type into your form to the URL, which is actually unbelievably insecure. Okay, so basically these are the two methods that we are going to be looking into right here, and these are the main two attributes for every form out there that's working on the back end. So this is basically it for you guys for forms. I think you have like pretty good knowledge right now that can get you going with forms, and see you on the next video. So now to another big important tutorial, which is the inline and block tags. So this is really important. You might want to pay attention to this one because it's really big. And we have right here only two kinds of elements on the web: the inline elements and the block elements. All right, so what basically are they? The inline element is an element that does not start on a new line, and it only takes up as much width as necessary. All right, so we have a lot of tags right here, or a lot of elements that are considered as inline elements. But before I just do an example, I just want to show you what are basically the width and height are. They might belong to CSS, but they're actually really embedded in HTML also. So I just want to create an anchor, and an anchor right here. Where is it? It's right up here in this. Yeah, it's actually right here, which is an inline tag. And let me just do a link right here. There is my link. So if I save this one, go back right over here and refresh, you can see that we have our old link right here. If I inspect on this, you can see how important the console is. It's basically everything. And if I like hover or click on this icon right here and hover over it, you can see that we have some information about this element, like the color, the font, accessibility, contrast, name, and whatever you call it. And if you look, we have like some numbers on the right, 24.89 multiply 17.75, and the first one is the width, the second one is basically the height. Okay, so the width basically is the horizontal line, all the horizontal line up here, and the height is basically the vertical line, and this basically applies to every other or every element that's created on your web page. Okay, again, the width is the whole vertical the width is the whole horizontal line, and the height is the whole vertical line. Okay, and this is basically an inline element, so it will take up as width as necessary, and you know, it will not start on a new line. If I go up right over here and try to create another, you know, link, which is basically an inline element, and let's see what's gonna happen. My second, let's just keep it for one line, link, just finish this one like this, and we go ahead. That you can see that we have our own other link in the same line. Okay, and this, you know, this is how basically, of course, you can edit this or alter this as much as you want by using CSS, but I'm just showing you what's going on here on the inline and block elements. Okay, and we have a new tag right here that I'm gonna discuss today, which is the span element. And the span element is basically an inline element, and you can use it, you know, can use the span element mark or just apply some style on some text on your paragraphs or on your anchors or whatever you want to do right here on your page. So if I go ahead and just span this one like this and finish this one, and if I pick this up and just do a little styling, actually you can just use the style attribute right here. If I go the color equals, no, not equals, column blue. Now if I save this one and refresh, yeah, it's actually it's actually blue by default. Let me choose red. You can see that right here we have the span, this link right here as, you know, as a red. All right, so basically this pen is an inline element which applies some text, which just marks some text on a document or on your HTML elements. Okay, and it's an inline element, so as you can see right here that the link is still in the same line. All right, so I can do another link right here just to show you that it's actually working, or we can actually use and make use of some other, you know, yeah, we can choose the bold. We can do another element, so just I can confirm it. Let's do a B element which stands for bold. Of course we don't need href because it's not a link anymore. You can see right here my bold text. I save this one, go back right over here and refresh. You can see that we still have this one in the same line. If I hover over it, you can see now the width and the height and all the information that's accessible for this element right over here. So this is basically for the inline elements. Okay, we have a bunch of them right here. Now if we go like under this one for the block element and the block elements, and the block elements are basically the opposite. A block level element always starts on a new line. So basically if we write a bunch of these guys right after each other, everyone will take up a new line. A block level element always takes up the full width available, so it basically will take up the whole width right here. Not like these guys, they only take as much as they can, or as much as necessary. All right, so it will take up the full width, stretch out to the left and right as far as it can be. And the width is not just the left, you know, the width is the whole thing, the left, the right, and the top and bottom. Okay, it's basically just the space. The width is of course like the left and the right. All right, so the width and height, they only make up the space around web elements or HTML elements. Okay, so a block level element also has a top and a bottom margin, and we've discussed the margin before, and it's basically just a CSS property, okay, which represents the spaces around an element, whereas an inline element does not. Okay, so block level element has a top and bottom margin, so you can actually perform some border around them, whereas an inline element does not have like a top and bottom margin. All right, so we have these block level elements right here, which is the address, the article, the outside, and the list just goes on and on. Okay, maybe we'll just do an example with the h1 and another example with the paragraph. So let's just get going. So if we just comment these ones right here, just highlight on all of them, control and backslash. Now if I go right over here and start my h1, hello from heading 1 and a line block tag. If I close it back right now, if I save this, you can see it's basically just a normal heading right over here. And now if I go ahead and just do a paragraph right now, which is basically a block element, hello from paragraph only a block tag. I just close this one right over here and just save it, go back right over here and refresh. You can see that now it has its own line, and you can see right here, if I click on the icon, and you can see the width and height, and it now basically takes the whole thing right over here. And if I go also for the H1, all right, it takes the whole width, the whole full width right here. All right, and we can also perform a border. Let's go ahead and perform a border on the paragraph. If we look up this one, all right, so we can now do a border. And I know this is a little bit of CSS, 1 pixel, solid, and we can choose the color. Okay, so we need to specify the size and like how it's gonna be applied, and the color of the border. So if we save this one, go back right over here and refresh, you can see that we have now the whole border, and you can see the whole border is all around the width, not only not only the element itself. No, it takes up the whole thing. I hope that makes sense. I know it sounds a little weird, but this is how basically the web flow works. All right, so I also have another new tag to discuss concerning the block elements, which is the div. Okay, and it's right over here. And div basically is just a wrapper. Okay, sometimes you want to wrap your elements with each other, and you will use something like the div. All right, so if I just tab these guys, you select on them and you just click your tab. All right, and if I close the div, all right, so if I just save this one, you can see right here, of course nothing changed because it's only a wrapper. If we look up here, it's now down right here at the bottom. All right, we can do another div right here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Let's give this to allow from heading to. I'm only a block tag, and let's give this one. Let's do an let's keep it as it is. It's fine. Okay. Now something weird. Yeah, actually, this is not an E. This is a B. Now, if I save this one and go right over here and just refresh, you can see that right here we have these two guys right under each other, and we have the two divs right over here, and basically we can perform anything we want. Let me just try to style this one. I know it's gonna be a horrible design, but let's see just what's gonna happen. Will everyone take its own color, or they are gonna something wrong will happen, or we will just look at something really basic. This one's gonna be red, and I'm gonna copy these guys, and basically this is a simple background color. Let's give this one as blue. All right, so if we save this one, refresh, you can see that right here. Oh my god, looks really ugly. All right, but it's just a symbol, just a simple thing to demonstrate, and we can see that there is a margin right over there between them. So basically everyone takes its own width. All right, so I'm just gonna remove these guys so you don't hurt your eyes. So yeah, as we're seeing right here, these are inline and block elements. And something else to notice about inline and block elements, you don't want to put a block element from these guys inside an inline element. Okay, it's weird, but don't just do it. All right, but you can actually do the other thing around, which you can actually add an inline element inside a block element. And if we look up right over here, maybe I need to highlight this paragraph, and I can add the span element, which is an inline element. Maybe you want to like highlight this thing, and you can of course do it. And let's just say I want to do a style right here. and I'm gonna add a color of red. All right, it's just an example. And if we save this, of course, paragraph will not take up a new line, because it's now wrapped around an inline element, so it will just say the same. If we refresh up over here, and you can see the paragraph is in the same line because it's wrapped around an inline element. Okay, and it's now highlighted as red. So I hope that everything makes sense. They're really simple if you just understand the width thing and how they interact on the web. All right, and I will keep this page in case you guys want to like read this text again, read this information again, and I will see you on the next video. Hello guys, and what's going on? So this one is gonna be really important, which is all about classes. We have two main attributes in HTML, just if you want to mark your elements so you can do some design with CSS, or you want to just manipulate it with JavaScript. All right, so we have the classes and IDs. IDs, I'm gonna explain them in the next video, but right now let's focus on classes. So as I said earlier, classes are attributes that are used to give a class or to mark an HTML element. All right, so if we go right over here, I'm gonna just show you an example how to write them. Let's say I'm gonna give this one a paragraph right here. Let's say hello, this is a classed paragraph. I'm gonna close this one. So now it's only just a normal paragraph. If I go right up over here, I'm gonna write class, and I'm gonna give this just can give it any name you want. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna give it just my class. That's all. So if I open up my classes.html file right over here, if I just zoom this in, you can see it right here in the inspect element. You can see that the class right here is my class. So if I just go ahead and do the first example that I have over here, I'm just gonna do manipulate this one with a style. I'm gonna just manipulate only a symbol element, and I'm just gonna go style, just open this up like this. And to basically manipulate a class, all you have to do is just write your point right here and the name of this class. Let's say my class, and open this up. It's just like using your element, but you only write your own class. Okay, and you can actually write the element and it will work right away. Okay, you can write both of them, but it's just cleaner to keep it this way. All right, that's why we're using our class right here, so we can just perform a certain CSS property right here, and a value. And I'm gonna go for color, let's say red. That's fine. Okay, you save this one. You go up right over here and refresh. You can see that we now have the color right here. All right, so if we go up over here, and we can actually perform like a lot of things on this one. We can go font size. All right, so I'm just gonna give it 20 pixels, and if I refresh this one, you can see right here, if I go back and reset this one, you can see it's now only 20 pixels. Let's say if I uncheck this one, it's just gonna go to the normal size of it. But if I check it back again, you can see right here it's now 20 pixels, and I can increase this as many as you want. And of course, when we refresh, it just go back right away to 20 pixels. Alright, so this is it for the first example. The second example I want to show you is actually like a lot of different elements can have the same class, and when you write your style right here, all of them are going to be affected the same way. So if we just look up over here, I'm gonna do a div. Alright, gonna close this one. I'm gonna write over here h2, let's say Egypt. Let's just do like this. And if I close this one, h2, if I go back to the paragraph right here and I say Cairo is the capital of Egypt. Alright, so this is just a simple normal div. If I copy this one and just paste it, and let's say this is England. Alright, so the capital of England is London. Alright, so basically it's just normal divs. Now I want to apply my own class. Let's say this class, let's say city, and I'm also going to just copy this one right over here and just paste it right away. And if I copy this city and go right up over here, just my dot and the class and just my brackets, and now I can perform anything I want. Let's say I'm gonna just do a background color, let's say green. Alright, and the color is basically white. Alright, so if I save this, let me just comment this one real quick. If I save this, now refresh, you can see that right here I have my two divs right here. Okay, if I just go back and give them some margins so they can look a little nicer, let's say I'm gonna give them 20 pixels. And you don't have to know everything I type here. It's just basic CSS, but I guess it makes sense. Padding like 20 pixels. So if I save this one and just go up right over here, you can see that now they look a little nicer, I guess. So yeah, this is basically if I copy this one and perform another one. I think you get the idea by now. If I say right over here, and let me just call it Germany. I guess this is Germany. Now the capital is Berlin. Now if I save this one, if I refresh again, I can get my last div. So I guess the idea is obvious right here. And now I can go to my last example, which is the one element with two classes. So if I add another class right here, it's just simple. If I want to add another class to the same attribute, now I can go just space and I can write my own second class. So let's say this one, I'm gonna call it second, and of course you can call it whatever you want. Okay, and if I just copy it and go up right over here and add my point and just paste it and go with my brackets, and now I want to perform something on this one. Let's say what am I gonna perform? Let's say I'm gonna try a border, because why not? Border. So like 1 pixel. All right. Solid. This is basically the way that the border is gonna be styled. And flag, that's fine, I guess. Now if I save this one, if I refresh, you can see that right here, the last one, you can't see the border really well, so I'm gonna keep it for as 2 pixels. We're gonna get a bigger size so you can see it. If I now refresh, you can see it right now. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you know, you can give it more pixels, but it's gonna look kind of bad. I guess now we can see it. All right, so if we look at this one right over here, now we can see that's getting a border from this class, and now it's getting these guys from the second class, which is city. But if we go to this one, okay, there is no border because of course we didn't give it like our class right here. If we copy this and go to this one, it's gonna now go to England. All right, so if we refresh, you can see that now it has its own border right over here as Germany. All right, so I guess this is it for the classes, and you guys are gonna use this a lot. Okay, see you now in the next video. So now to the IDs, and which are basically really similar to classes. Now, one thing I should mention in the last video about the classes right here, that classes are actually case sensitive. And I discussed this case sensitive concept in the last videos, and basically what I mean by that is that they are different if you write them in small or big characters. All right, so class is different than class. All right, so any change in the capital, like big or small, all right, this will change the whole thing. They're not the same thing, they're different. All right, so let me just remove this one, and if I actually go ahead and change this city to a city like this with a big character and save this one, and if I go to my classes, okay, I'm now in my IDs file. If I go to my classes now and change it, go ahead and open it, you can see that we lost our style right here. But if I change it back, Control Z twice, if I now refresh it, we can see that we have our own style back. Okay, let's try a T like from the middle just to confirm it, and refresh back. Now we lost our design. Okay, and we can just go back, Control Z twice. If I now change this, now save, and now refresh again, you can see that we lost our borders right here. All right, so I guess this is what I mean. This is what I mean by case sensitive. Different when it comes to the character size, big or small. All right, so if we go back to our IDs, just to get on with this tutorial. Now, IDs, as I said, they're pretty similar to classes. All right, so if I write now my own paragraph, just to show you an example. Hello, this is a new paragraph. All right, and just close this one and save it. Going back now to our IDs page, you can see that nothing, it's just a simple paragraph with no styling right here. But if I give this an ID, and basically if you want to go for an attribute, for an ID attribute, you just go ID and write your own ID. So just some things to point when writing IDs: you cannot start your own ID with a number. Okay, it won't work. All right, if you want to write numbers in your IDs, you're gonna have to write them like next character is second character, third character, whatever you want, but not the first character. Also, they are case sensitive. All right, just like classes. All right, and you cannot give the same ID to more than one element. You can do it, but it's not a good practice. So it's better that you give every element its own unique ID. All right, so if I type right here my ID, and yeah, you cannot add spaces like this. All right, but and you might say like, if I want to name my ID like two names, what should I do? You can go like this one. Okay, you can add this hash right here, and let me just like copy this one and go for a style right here. They're basically really similar, just like classes. And now if I want to perform something with my ID, and of course you can manipulate the IDs or the elements with the IDs with JavaScript, not just CSS. And you only need to type your own hashtag and the name of the ID, which is my ID, and now the brackets. All right, so now we need to perform our own design. Let's say the color is green. Okay, now if I save this one, go back right up here and just refresh, now we can see that our own paragraph now is green. All right, so yeah, this is basically it for the ID. Right, so to recap, IDs, you can write your own ID right here to mark the element, just like classes. All right, and some rules for writing IDs: you cannot start with a number. All right, if you want to add a space, you can add your own like dash or whatever you want, or you can just go like this, ID like this. All right, you make the second number big, and of course you'll have to just copy this right over here. All right, and it's case sensitive also, so you cannot go like this. All right, so you have to type like the same thing as here. All right, and it's basically when you're gonna write your own CSS or JavaScript, you'll have to use the hashtag. Remember, for the class we used the point, but here we used our hashtag right over here. All right, and will just work just fine. Now if we save this one, all right, and we can do another example, the h1 ID, my heading. Now let's see if we can add a number right over here. That's all right, you can add one. Hello, this is another heading with an ID. Right, so if we close this one, and now we need to just snap our heading right here, and we can go for another heading, of course the hashtag, don't forget it, and our heading and the brackets, and let's set our color as yellow. All right, so if we save this one, go back up here, refresh, you can see that we have our own heading right over here. So yeah, this is basically it. You can see how easy that is, and see you guys in the next video. So now we're up there with the course, and excuse me, now I'm gonna show you some stuff about the head tag. So as I mentioned earlier about the head tag is really important, and it defines the stuff that won't work like they won't show up on the page, but they affect the page, like how it's styled, how it's laid out, okay, and all of these stuff. So it won't elements on the head won't show up the page, but it will affect it and dictates how it's laid out. All right, so basically like we've used the title, we've used the style. Now I want to show you like some important things, which is the meta tag, right? And basically the meta tag describes some stuff like the encoding of this page, and the encoding basically dictates like the languages that will be supported on those pages. So Arabic might have its own encoding, English has its own encoding, Chinese, Indian, you know, all of these has have its own encoding. But basically the most the most important and popular one is the UTF-8 encoding. All right, it contains all the supported and main languages that you probably know. So if I just write my car set right here, which is the attribute, I can go for UTF-8. all right, so all in capital. And now if I just save and refresh the ID's HTML page, of course nothing happens, because as I said, it's actually doesn't show up anything in the page. It will just dictate the rules. And actually like a lot of browsers are set to UTF-8 by default, because as I said, it's the most popular. All right, so basically let me show you another meta element, which is the description. All right, so if we just go on Google right here and just write Google on our browser, will show up all of these things will show up, all of these results. And now we have the title right over here, and we have some description for this title. This is basically what the meta description does. Okay, it just specifies the description when your website will be uploaded on the web. All right, so this actually helps with search engine optimization, stuff like that. If we go right up over here and we write meta, and we need the name, and we define our description. All right, I guess that's it. And now the content of this description, and it will be, let's say this is my website, just anything basic. All right, so we can close this one, just save, and if we refresh, of course nothing will happen, because this will only be displayed if your website is on the web. All right, so this is it for the meta. Okay, it's a huge deal, but this is like the most basic stuff that you should know about the meta. All right, yeah, I can add another one. I can show you another one, why not? We can actually add our keywords, which are basically also just search engine optimization stuff. When you look up something online, these things will just pop up. All right, so I can show you the keywords. Now I can show you the name, keywords. All right, and now I can write my content, and let's say dogs, cats, you know, let's just save it as that. And of course, yeah. All right, so this is basically what the meta is, and we can actually set this to D, so a big, you know, a big capital D. Yeah, this is basically it for the meta. And now we can move to something else, which is the script. And the script tag basically just defines a JavaScript element, or a JavaScript, you know, code, and it's written basically on the it's written as the last thing in the body. We can have like 1,000 line here, and we have to include our script or JavaScript tag right here, the last thing. and can be also embedded in the head, and it's also need to be the last thing. Of course, after the style and after everything, and actually the style needs to go right down here. We're talking about the proper order for these tags. Alright, so we can write the script right here, or we can write right over here. Okay, I prefer to write it down here. Now we can go for script. Alright, and we can type our script and finish it like this. And now we can type, or we can write our own JavaScript. Let me just do a little bit of coding. I know you don't know any of JavaScript, but I'm just showing you. Like I'm gonna run some code. It's basically basic JavaScript function, my function. I know this sounds weird to you, but we're just running some code right here, nothing big. And I'm gonna trigger an alert allow from JavaScript. Alright, and I'm gonna end this with a semicolon. And now I'm gonna do a button right here, button, and I'm gonna do on click, which is basically just an attribute. Will be triggered, it will trigger this function once the button is clicked. And I'm gonna do my function right over here. Okay, and now I'm gonna just write the name of this button. Let's say trigger. Alright, I'm gonna close this one. Alright, and save it like this. It's basically just a simple JavaScript code, and there is a button to trigger this function right over here. If we save this, I hope that makes sense. Refresh right now, we can get our button right here. If I click it, yeah, maybe I need to add these guys right over here. Right now, refresh and click. You can see that we have our alert right over here. Alright, so if I just take this one and just go to the head and paste it right over there, so we can see if it's working or not. Refresh and click, you can see that's also triggered from the head. Basically what happens, like the browser comes and reads all of these code, it will check for this one. Now it has the and will come right over here and check for the button, and it will find the function. So it will just render everything, and everything will work just fine. So this is it for the head tag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. So this one should be really easy and simple, and it's about HTML entities. Right, so we have in HTML some characters are reserved, okay, some signs are reserved, and if you might even use them, they might get mixed with HTML reserved characters, like less than sign, okay, or the greater than sign. So they're basically used for writing, you know, tags like this, and if you use them in text, they might like the browser might get them mixed with your tags right here. So what if we want to write them? Actually, we can use some special, you know, codes to write them, and they're basically the HTML entities, and we can define a syntax like this for an HTML entity. We have right here and the ampersand sign, and like the entity, and a semicolon, or another form for it, the ampersand sign and the hashtag sign and the entity and a semicolon. So this is basically it. So to recap, an entity is basically a way of writing reserved characters in HTML, and so you can avoid them confused with the reserved characters. All right, so we have a couple of examples right here, and the first one is the greater than example. And if we just go ahead and type it, the lt, sorry, is the less than example, not the greater than. Right, so if we save this one and go back right over here and refresh, you can see that we have it right over here. Okay, and we have like the other short or the other big form of it, which is basically will just generate the same thing. And you know, you can write it in the way you like, hashtag and 60. So it basically will generate the same thing. You can write every one of them like has a text, a way of writing, and a number way of writing. And if we save this one, refresh, you can see that we got another one right here. All right, so we have the greater than also. If we just copy it, you can write it right over here and save this. This is gonna generate a greater than. You can see it right here. And we have also like the sign itself, this sign itself, the ampersand. If we now go ahead and comment all of these, and we go right over here and emb semicolon and save and refresh right here, you can see that we have it. And we also have some, you know, bound and euro like signs. You can go right over here and type it. Let me just do LPR. All right, and we can type the next one, which is the euro. Save this one, refresh, you can see that we have the pound sign and the euro. Okay, and this one, which is the last one, what we're gonna be doing, right, copy one, copy, save this one, refresh. You can see that we have this one. This one might be really familiar when you go to like a website folder or something like that. It just like it pops up like in the folder. Okay, you can see it. So now you know how to actually write it. So yeah, these are basically the entities, and see you in the next video. Alright, so I'm making this video to just let you guys know that I'm actually that you can simply access the code for this whole HTML course in this in the resources section of this video. Alright, so I basically like grabbed all the code together in this video so you guys can benefit from it. And yeah, just go ahead and check out the resources section for this video and you will find the code right away. So this will be all, and I will see you in the next videos. So now we are gonna go ahead and start with videos, and this is of course like we complete the media stuff in this whole course, or in some video in this course. We actually talked about some kind of media, which was images. All right, and in this one we are going to talk about some other media, which is the videos. And of course, media is really important in HTML or on the web. All right, so you need to learn how to deal with them, how to manipulate them, and all of that. All right, so it's basically really simple to include a video in your HTML page. You're just gonna go ahead and type in video, and we are gonna close this one. All right, so we can specify some kind of height, let's say 330, and width like 440 maybe. And we are gonna go ahead and do the controllers down here so we can display our controllers of this video. All right, so basically where is the source for this video? The source, it's gonna be inside the div or the tag itself. So we're gonna go ahead, source, type in source srs. All right, and we can specify the source down here, and we are gonna go ahead and type the type down here. Right, and we're gonna close this in. Actually, we don't need to close it to close this in. So basically this file down here, it's media.html, and it's down here in the desktop. Okay, so we have this file down here that we are going to include. So if we go ahead and include it, like Harry Potter.mp4, right, and the type is going to be video/mp4. all right, so we can actually type a couple more of these. We're gonna go ahead and type in source. So if the first one did not actually work out, we have the second one down here. All right, so maybe it's another name, which is video maybe, and we can type here some kind of like flag. Let's say we can type some kind of text. Maybe this maybe the browser does not support the video tag. We can write in your browser does not support this kind of media. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and save. So it's pretty simple, and we can go down here and we can refresh. You can see that we have our video down here. Okay, we can play it, we can adjust the sound. Okay, when we have some other controllers.
I'm Harry Potter.
Let's say,
I'm
you can see that everything is working now. Yeah, it's working. So yeah, this is basically it. This is how to include a video in HTML. It's that simple. You just type the video tag and you specify some kind of height and width, and you type in the controllers, so the controllers will play in, and you can actually type autoplay. This is another option down here, so the video will autoplay. All right, and you need the source. Of course, you need to type your file to include it. All right, and that's it. Yeah, see you on the next video. So now we can go ahead to the audio, and the audio is pretty simple. All right, to the video, and of course we can just go ahead and start right away. All right, so let's go audio. Of course, now you know this makes sense, and we can add here the controls. All right, and of course we need the source. Right, and for the source down here, I just picked up some song down here. All right, here it is. You can pick up you know which audio files that you like. If I go ahead and type in Adele.mp3, and for the type down here, you can go ahead audio/MPEG. All right, and of course we can add a couple more. You can add which ones you like, maybe audio.mp3. all right, and of course we can add some kind of text down here. Maybe the browser does not support the audio. Maybe you can write your browser does not support this. And let's go ahead and save and go to the page and refresh, and see that we have it down here as you're seeing. So if we go ahead, see that it's working down here. All right, and of course course we can unmute it and do whatever we want. And of course we can do some, we can go ahead down here and go auto play. Of course, and we can go muted down here also. Alright, so if you can save and refresh, you can see that down here it's muted and it's gonna play right away. Okay, when we go ahead and play. Alright, so yeah, it's that simple to encode media on your page. And see you in the next video.